coming out here tonight. My name's Eric Aldrich, and I live out in Queen Creek, or some people say. But tonight, my job is to give you guys some information on a couple things. We're going to talk first about a product called Protandim. Perhaps you've heard about it. And then we're also going to talk about the opportunity to make some income with this company, LifeVantage. But thank you, Chris, for the kind words. It's been actually a little while since I've done any presentations, and I'll talk about it here in a little bit. And so I appreciate you guys coming out here tonight. This means a lot. I'm married, got 4 beautiful children. My oldest is a 16-year-old daughter, just got her driver's license. And we got a 13-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl. But I come from a background, my dad was a forest ranger, so we spent a lot of time in the mountains, growing up as kids. And as my wife and I, we got our family started, I started a window washing business here in Arizona. And from there, we added on a lawn care business, and eventually we added another business, a landscaping company. And the majority of our business was out here in the East Valley. We had about 3,000 clients that we took care of. And getting introduced to network marketing actually became a very regular routine. It was kind of funny because you'd be in people's homes, and you're there in the kitchen, you're kind of waiting to get paid, and you're wrapping things up, and they'd always say, "Hey, before I pay you, I want to show you something." I was like, "Why is it before you pay me? Is that part of my deal here?" But I would get approached about network marketing or multi-level marketing probably literally 3 or 4 times a week. And I actually had some of my clients that I worked for who had become very successful in this industry. And so I knew that it actually worked. And over the years, my wife and I, we got involved in a couple of different companies, but never really had the success that my clients had that were doing extremely well. And about a couple of years ago, we had a good friend of ours that was helping starting up a new network marketing company. And we were asked to help, say, "You guys want to participate with this?" And the one thing I learned as I talked to all these people about network marketing, being first is a very important factor in the equation. Okay? And so we said, yeah, why not? We got involved with that company. And myself and my business partners and a few other people, we took that company from zero to about $50 million in our first year. And all of a sudden, for the first time in our life in network marketing, we were finding ourselves having some success. And it was kind of crazy because our checks were getting to the point where I was now making more in a month than what I used to make in a year with all 3 of my companies. And man, I was just like, it was pretty surreal. Well, after a little while in that company, we had some unfortunate things happen. We found out that the CEO of the company was doing business a lot different than what I was portraying the company to be doing. And we had to make a decision on whether we stayed with that company or not. And my dad always made it very clear in my life, there's a right and there's a wrong. End of discussion, But we actually walked away from that whole opportunity and everything that we worked so hard for. And not only did we walk away from there, but we had a number of other leaders in that company, but the entire corporate staff of that company left with us as well. And Monday morning when the CEO tried to open up his office, it wasn't, it's like nobody there to let him in. But as we walked away from that, and the reason I'm telling you that is because I want you to know where I come from, okay? Again, I used to mow lawns and wash windows. I'm high school educated. And my brothers are doctors, I'm not. But my dad taught us how to work hard and do those things. As we left that company a little over about 2.5 years ago, we were immediately assaulted essentially by every multi-level marketing company in the world. They found out that there was this group of individuals that were looking for a new home, and they wanted us to be part of the team. And after a couple of weeks went by, we had vetted out somewhere between 25 to 30 different network marketing companies. And what we had done is we sat down as a group of individuals prior to meeting with all these other companies, and we set up some parameters. Because, the one thing that I have learned is that when network marketing is done right, it's a beautiful business model. I don't think there's a better business model out there in the business world, period. And but I've also learned that if network marketing is done wrong, it's an ugly business model, just like any other business that could be done wrong, okay? And so we set up some parameters, some things that we had learned. And the first thing one of the parameters we'd set up is we wanted to find a company that was publicly traded. Why? Because in an economy and coming out of a situation that if somebody's going to tell me they're going to pay me a certain amount of money, I want to make sure that I'm getting my fair share. That if I work for it and they told me I'm getting it, I want to make sure that I am getting it. A publicly traded company, all the books are out in the open. Now, another thing we chose, wanted to have a publicly traded company for is in this economy, there's a lot of people, and in this industry, I don't know why it is, people always got to make up stuff. But we find that in the economy that we're in, we did not want to get involved in a company and get about 6 or 8 months down the road and find out that they didn't have enough capital to continue the venture, and then have to be starting all over again. And so there was a couple reasons for that being publicly traded. So that was our first criteria. The second criteria is we were looking for a newer opportunity. I mentioned just a second ago that in network marketing, in order to really capitalize on the full opportunity, I believe you have to be one of the first people in. And that is life. That is just business 101. Let me show you this right here. There's an S-curve that is taught in business schools and things like that. And this applies to network marketing as it does any other business. Okay? A business gets started over here at 0, and it goes through a pioneering stage, and this is when most businesses fail within the first 2 to 5 years. Okay? But they found that if you can keep a business going and you get it to a point where it's doing roughly $4 million a month in sales, which is $50 million a year, something magical happens with your business. Okay? And that's they call critical mass. Okay, very important part of your business. And critical mass will then put your business into a momentum phase. Momentum is where your business is growing just at an accelerated pace. You're no longer chasing down your clients, they're coming to you. Okay? You've got enough products, goods, and services out there, people are coming to you, and this is a really exciting time to be a part of any business. Once you go through that, you hit a part called stability. And it's not that your business has stopped growing, but it's just growing at a more moderate pace. A good business, 2 to 7% growth on a mature business is very good. Okay? Now, network marketing or selling cars or mowing lawns, washing windows, this business principle applies all the way across. And one of the other factors in network marketing is because it's a people business, as I found over the last 50 years or so, there's been about 40 companies that today are doing in excess of $100 million or more in sales. There's somewhere between 12 to 15 companies that are doing over $1 billion in sales. Sometimes people ask me all the time, oh, is this like Amway? I'm like, well, I kind of hope so. They're like, really? Well, yeah, the company did $8.2 billion last year. Okay? They operate in 55 countries. Take a look where you're working. They probably aren't even doing a portion of that. Okay? And so, network marketing, I think, is a lot of times just misunderstood. But those companies up there in a very stable business. They've been around for a very long time. They're growing at a good, steady pace. But another factor in all of this is how many people are involved. If you look at these big companies right here, the first 135,000 people that got involved in those companies make 80% of the commissions. Okay? So if Amway created $8.2 billion in sales, they pay 50% of that back. That's a whole lot of money that went to a whole bunch of people. Okay? And it would have been nice to be one of the first 135,000 people in that company. Okay? So, this was one of the criteria that we were looking for. When we would sit down and we would talk to these other companies, we'd ask them, how many people you got? And I remember having a company, they were very excited. They said, oh, we've just eclipsed, and we're just a little over 1 million distributors. And I said, that's great, but I don't want to be 1,000,006. Okay? Because I understood that this right here is a real part of having success in this industry. Okay? So that was our second thing. Now, the third thing is we were looking for a company that had a product that was different. If you look at a lot of these companies up here, a lot of them have health and wellness products. Okay? There's a reason for that, because it's a consumable item. People can buy it and use it over and over and over and over again. Okay? It makes for a very good business that will pay out dividends for a long period of time. If you've got a product people only need one of, as soon as you're done, you got to go find somebody else. Okay? So, when we look at all this, we said we want to have a product that's different, but more than just being a different product, we want that product to have some third-party credibility. That the research is actually done by somebody else besides the company. Okay? If you've ever been around this industry before, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about here, is that a lot of these companies, we ask them, well, who did the research? Well, we did. Okay? Well, I've learned in life that if you pay somebody enough money, they will tell you whatever they want to hear. Okay, and so if that company is funding the research, or if they did it themselves, different things like that, there's a lot of little things that could not be have to be told. And so we wanted, why can't we just find a product that is different? Okay, a lot of these products, like I said, are the same. Well, mine's blue, yours is green. Is one vitamin C really better than the other vitamin C? And so we said if we could find a different product that had third-party credibility, research done by somebody else beside the company, that would make our job and life a whole lot easier. And so that's what we set out as we were talking to these different companies. And through the process, one of our business partners got a phone call from Dave Brown, the guy that you just saw in the video there, called one of our business partners and said, hey, I would like to meet with you guys as well. And I was like, well, who are you? And he said, well, I represent a company called LifeVantage. I'm out of San Diego. And we're like, all right, get in line. As soon as we get to you, we'll be more than happy to sit down and talk. So we got down to San Diego. Now, the first time that I met Dave Brown was 2.5 years ago in the Airport Hilton in the foyer. And unlike a lot of these other companies that were whining and dining us and literally were trying to one-ups each other, Dave Brown was, I don't know, I liked him from the second I met him. He got up off the couch, come over and said, hi, my name's Dave. We didn't go into some big fancy boardroom and sit there and try and, impress us. We sat out there in the foyer, we talked to him. Like, one person, should talk to another.